Based on our first entrance together with Visions of Atlantis, I can't wait to hear more, especially in the evolution of The Deep and the Dark as an album based on 4 tracks we're going to highlight, this being the second, following the title track, but that was a great first entrance. And as I said previously, thank you to all of you that have frequented my comment sections on numerous occasions in terms of providing groups that I should look at, but specifically to Visions of Atlantis. They became a bit of a mainstay presence in the comment section, and I thank you for that. Because there's enough promise going in. Many of you know that music for me is a preferred language among the artistic languages, and it's been a long-time dream of mine to highlight it alongside other mediums, what this channel is more so founded on in terms of a coverage focus. I've wanted to centralize its presence to an even feel, maybe one that's actually kind of taking over a bit, especially of recent standing, but these are passion projects videos for me, right? Music is just, it means so much to me as an art form, and to sharing the experience with you, especially on the first introduction regard, it's been quite welcome. In certain avenues, even more specifically, let's say, for example, European metal, which many of you know I can't get enough of with good reason, and Visions of Atlantis is adjacent. I'll simplify this in case anybody's approaching this on a first introduction, where I was 1 track ago with The Deep and the Dark, and you should humor that piece. I would recommend it. Maybe go back in their earlier catalog as well. I'll be doing that post covering them, and we're going to have a good time with this group. Many of you have been requesting them. You're about to have your curiosity fulfilled with a number of pieces, but I'm pulled in immediately. Such strong delivery on the symphonic metal front, easy drive with me with melodic and power intersections, beautifully managed. What a gorgeous fantasy that this band paints. That first piece, its delicate nature, the vocal balance in terms of the lead vocalist Clementine, I believe the supporting vocalist Michel. I might be getting the pronunciation wrong. Feel free to clarify down below if I am. I'd love to be correct in acknowledgement in the future. But it was a fabulous association, a great video to look at, a bit of a fun flair in terms of the pirate presence. Europe has that uniqueness, but my first ever Austrian group, not first ever Austrian artists, Rusanda Panfili and Diane von Giersbergen both have that regard, but Visions of Atlantis has a lot of promise. And Clementine is a vocalist. I probed this question before. I don't know, maybe this video will make good on it, but I wondered because I sensed a hint, a bit of an operatic flair in her vocals. I mean, she can definitely hit a higher range. I wonder if we're going to see that. Maybe that'll be in a piece forthcoming. And we did dig back a bit in terms of their album lineup. I wanted to get a well-rounded perspective, and also I wanted to showcase them in an adequate manner that you, Visions of Atlantis fans, would find deserving to their credits. And they certainly deserve it, at least in my regard. And to provide a good introduction and entrance for anybody who also is taking the parallel journey with me, right? And I welcome, of course, anybody's company, whether you happen to be long-standing fans of them that obviously advance me, or fresh entrances like myself. We're going to humor Return to Lemuria together, I think it's how you pronounce it, and broaden out our understanding of such another talented example of a European rock and metal regard. I can't get enough of this space, as I've said many times, with good reason, right? It speaks for itself on quality. And if you want to talk about strong aptitudes expressed in music and creativity and artistry, Europe just has such an abundant supply. I've showcased so many groups with more to come based on your suggestions, and it's quite a catalog of names. I'm trying to make good on it slowly but steadily, and Visions of Atlantis is the newest appearance. Again, thank you to all of you that provided them as a reference to me. We're going to humor them again together for our second encounterance with Return to Lemuria. I'm going to go ahead and cue up the video alongside the song that debuted with it, as I understand. And this video happens to feature the lyrics as well on screen. Many of you know, if you're familiarized to my content, I like to accommodate listener taste by providing you the lyrics manually in the video feed. I don't have to in this case, which means a faster upload time. I don't mind providing that provision, though it does take it does add on a number of minutes or maybe an hour or so. It takes a lot of effort, more than you would realize if you didn't know, if I didn't acknowledge it to you. But they provided me an ease of access that is going to make the editing process a little easier. Either way, though, it's going to be fun, I'm sure. Maybe you just want to sit back, and enjoy the experience. I will be doing that too in both respects. But maybe we'll talk about it more in depth based on, again, the storytelling. This is a great band, though. I'm loving my first entrance. Let's deepen it. Anything more for symphonic metal, please. Okay, there's a power metal intersection. That opener kind of mimics like the score of like a fairy tale tune from like children's tales. It's really interesting. At least I can think of a couple that might, maybe not by name, but I remember back years ago when I was a kid. There's a mutual comparison to be made. Quite elegant, though. mixture of tones. I'm loving this balance. That's a nice inflection. Lighter voice. You know, I speak a lot about female vocalists in the European vein, but there's a couple that are, you know, have any guys that also sound just as exquisite. I would qualify Michelle in that. Oh, this is beautiful. What a fabulous vocal balance for that line. That's so cool. I love the complement of the two different roles here. Works so well for the benefit of the song. And the trade-off is nice too. I'm sure I'm going to say repeatedly, thank you to all of you that gave me this name. I truly mean that. As if it couldn't even get better in sentence. Wow. This is great. You see why I love Europe? Anybody that's a first introduction for? That line is so perfect, especially the feeding into the sailing the sea. Oh my word. One of the best transitions I've ever heard. It's so even. I like the drop. Let's see if it invades back in terms of the power metal intersection. I don't think it will. The soft rap, good choice. As I said on Origin, wow. Well, I didn't say that, but I'm still letting the experience wash over me. You think of, you know, when you're younger, right? There's sort of like those nursery rhyme type songs that you might hear. Maybe I'm trying to place a couple names and they're escaping me, though. I mean, it's been how many years? I'm 25 now, so, you know, we're reflecting like way back. But I can't help but experience an adjacency, at least in perception and reflection when I listen to this piece. The way it begins, it has that fantasy quality manifested so well. The storytelling, just beautiful to listen to, especially with the lyric writing. It feels like a fairy tale in itself, right? It might as well be. And, you know, from what I understand, that is a basis to their works, that they were inspired not just by the lore of Atlantis, I think, but broadly speaking, at least from one bio I read, they like nautical tales. I'm not exactly sure what that is. I need, obviously, maybe do some digging. Just mythology generally, or themes of self-discovery and love. That sounds beautiful. At least that's what I'm looking at, like I reference the site often, the Metal Archives, Encyclopedia Metallum. That's what at least they're referencing. Maybe you could say a couple other contributions to their work as well if you're familiarized to what they write about. Maybe if there's, again, more nuances that doesn't necessarily encompass in total. I love the vision. Pun intended. with this piece, Return to Lemuria. And that line is so good. Man, I love how they nail it. That chorus section, the construction with the inflection points, just so natural. It just sweeps you in, right? And this has a different feel from the previous work. The first one was a little more ominous in its symphonic presence, and the way this one began again, it had that fairy tale type feel, but it felt positive and uplifted. And then there was that shift, like you could acknowledge that right before the verse began. I'm sure many of you would agree. Maybe that's just something I'm noticing. But when it begins, right, when the vocals invade on behalf of both Michelle and Clementine, and the association between the two of them is so great. How frail her voice is. Frail with respect, I'm not dissing it at all. I love the daintiness and how delicate of an approach it is. It feels like it's just so fragile, but there's just so much power in there with the range. Oh my gosh, I love it. That chorus application, though, my word, it's so good. The interplay between the two and the trading off of the lines as well, I think on the second verse where, first she says our compass will reveal the place where us is real. That line, the lyric writing for this is so good. Man, just even on reflection, I can't get over how good it is. And then for him to take on that role and then for this last verse iteration to bounce back, I love that pattern to the structure of the song. Just has such a unique mapping. But a beautiful trade-off that mimics, again, that type of relationship dynamic that this drives at in a way as we think about returning to the island, I guess, of Lemuria. So beautiful, though. And the way, just to reiterate, the way that Lemuria, the way it trails off in the vocals, I wouldn't have it any other way. It's just so beautiful. This is what I love about music. You know, I just love highlighting good art. And man, Europe has so many examples. Let's add on another one. But that's a beautiful piece. Again, if you want to evoke a fairy tale in music for adult appreciation, right, that maybe makes us reminisce about times, long gone, to maybe whatever tales you might identify, maybe you could name some. Some are escaping me at the moment because, again, it's been so many years. But I can't help but experience a type of reflective feeling. Just an experience. It feels so similar and told with such effort and precision and nuance. I love this piece. My word. Again, I'm probably going to say this on every video. Thank you to all of you that gave this name as a reference to me. I truly enjoy experiencing their work, especially on a first introduction regard. I'm sure many of you who have made their presence known in terms of my surroundings, you're quite elated, I'm sure, but I'm covering them. Again, I love to be able to spotlight good artists, and I feel, like I do every artist pretty much, I feel quite honored to be spotlighting Visions of Atlantis and to be introduced. And I can't wait to broaden out my understanding and familiarity to them. And maybe others as well. Maybe I can inspire you if you happen to be a new listener. You're taking this parallel journey with me. I'd love to hear what angle you approach down below if you do wish to disclose that, as well as your overall thoughts on Return to Lemuria. One of my favorite symphonic metal pieces. And yes, there's a mixture of mood, right, from many different bands and application. Even it seems Visions of Atlantis, there's a bit of a diversity in approach, right, to the storytelling and the feeling we get surrounded by. This has much more of a positive presence, a bit of a hopeful, dreamlike vision, right? It's a bit different from what I've normally entertained. Maybe you could identify certain examples of what I've covered in the past on this channel that kind of speak again to that type of feeling mixture and mood. I love originality, especially in standing. This is an easy replay for me. I love its vision, what it evokes for me in memory, in sensation, and just its overall professionalism and precision of artistic capability and effort. I love it. It's a beautiful work. Return to Lemuria indeed. I'd love to just visit. I've never been to the land of, or the island, or whatever it is, of Lemuria. But this song makes me want to travel there. Just instantaneously. The type of beauty just fixates your interest. Love that number. Never great addition for me, especially in just music coverage on this channel, generally speaking, and of the European metal foray. But to Visions of Atlantis' credit, that is an impressive work. I can't wait to humor it again. Thank you so much for watching this video. Before you bounce, feel free to drop a like and comment, subscribe to this channel with a ding on the bell, and share this video with your friends. And consider checking out the description here. There you'll find links to my other channels, as well as addresses to my other social media accounts and ways you can help support my work if you feel so inclined. May God bless you, and looking forward to when our paths cross again.